Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of
Midwest Reviews. Today, guys, we're actually going to be taking a look at an interesting subject, talking about the group of people known as millennials. And when you hear that, you probably think of the stigma that a lot of people think of them. But actually, there's an interesting fact. There are two different groups of millennials.
Are there?
Yes. If you've ever heard of the expression Generation X, that was everybody that was before the millennial generation. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was everybody born from 83 onward is known as a millennial.
I believe you're right.
Now, the reason I bring up the Generation X is there's actually a group of the millennials, myself and Cameron included, that were raised with the Generation X sort of attitude and mentality, where as opposed to what we're going to classify as the Y millennials that are always asking why they have to do stuff. They think it should just be handed to them. As opposed to the way that we were raised, where we believe that you actually have to work to earn things. It's not just going to be delivered on a silver platter because you want it.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting off with, let's just say a situation. Cameron, say that you were, you wanted to buy a new album, and what do you have to do to get that album?
I don't work to get money to buy that album.
Right. Oh, so your mom and dad aren't just going to drop it at your feet because you want it?
No, they're not. I wasn't taught that way. I learned at an early age that don't work. And so, obviously, I don't do that nowadays because of that. So,
well, hopefully with you being in your mid-20s, you wouldn't try something that a 5-year-old would do.
Exactly.
That being said, whenever I was at the school, there was a bunch of teenagers that approached that. They had that 5-year-old approach. There was one kid I can remember to this day. He was shocked. He was like, "What? I have to work? I have to do stuff? You're not just giving it to me?" And I was like, "No, you're going to have to earn this, buddy." And it stood out to me as a stark contrast. The whole reason we're making this video is because one day I was in the post office and there was a few people behind me. It was an older man. Him and another person in line were talking about the way that their grandkids are acting, how they're so self-entitled, how they think they're God's gift, that they should get whatever they want. And he goes, "Yeah, that's just the way of all those millennials." And I thought to myself, hold on now. I didn't say this to him, but I thought to myself, I'm a millennial, and that's not how I view myself. See, the term millennial now has this stigma to it, like we were talking about. And I really don't like that. So we're hoping to kind of debunk that. That's the whole reason we're making this video. So we realize that not all of us millennials are like that.
Not everybody's a Kanye West, so, and not like we're dogging him, but we're just saying. That's
He's not even a millennial, but he is the epitome of their attitude.
Exactly.
Like a bratty little child that's crying out for attention.
Mm-hmm.
The moment the attention goes away, what does he do? He comes out with another antic, another attitude. And that's the way that most millennials are. Mm-hmm. It's all about them.
Yep.
They think that, and this is a proven fact, that they polled millennials and they said, if you were going to go to a job, what pay range would you like? Where do you think you're going to stop? They all think they're going to get one of the bigger salaries and start at the top.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid.
Well, I mean, it didn't start off like that with my parents. I mean, did it start off like that with your parents?
Nope.
I mean, my parents had to work. They had to earn, they had to climb the ladder, so to speak. They had to work for it. And that's what Kellen and I are talking about, is there are people out there that have that mentality that, that are like that we realize that we're not going to be given everything. Nothing's going to be handed to us. We just have to work at it. We have to be able to earn that respect, so to speak.
And so, it's not our job to change these people. I mean, no, you can't do that.
No.
They're all individuals. But where does the fault lie? Well, honestly, it doesn't lie solely with the Y millennials. It actually goes back to the way they were raised. There was a lot of recent articles that there was raised a question: should you discipline your children? Yeah. It's not going to kill them. Okay, there's a lot of people that they're afraid that they're going to damage them, that they're free spirits and that it's going to diminish their personality if you punish them.
Yeah.
No, you see the self-entitled attitude, that comes from not raising your child right.
Well, and discipline doesn't have to be, I'm not saying that discipline, it requires, contact with hands and things like that. We're not talking like, spankings or anything like that. We're just saying discipline can be anything, but it's got to be administered, and you got to just start at an early age. Don't think to yourself that, I'm going to hurt my child. I was disciplined when I was young plenty of times, and I turned out just fine, I think. I don't know, you were disciplined as a child. Your dad, spanked you plenty of times, and you turned out to be, normal.
Hopefully half a decent individual. And the thing is neither one of us are parents, so we can't say we've never been down that road. But we're just basing this solely on what we recall from being raised as children. I remember my dad would swoop down out of the sky like an eagle whenever I tried to run away from getting a spanking, and then he would just pick me up by one arm, and then you could run nowhere, and then the spanking would commence. But the thing
I laugh because that's happened to me before too.
They just come out down in the sky like, and then.
But with me it was a little different because they didn't have to spank me all the time. My parents, all they had to do was tell me how disappointed they were in what I did, and I just break down and just start going. I'm terrible kid. I'm the worst kid on the planet. So I was pretty emotional about that stuff. So
I remember I talked to my dad and I said, why did you use some of the methods you used to discipline me back in the day? And he said because whenever you got older, I wanted you to be able to look in the mirror and actually see be able to respect yourself. That's where a lot of this new attitude of everything should be just given to them because they want it. That is not. They're in for a rude awakening whenever they go into the real world, because whenever they get the job, they're gonna see that this reality that's been crafted around them and been taught to them their whole life, it ain't gonna go that way.
Speaking of that too, because this whole idea of everybody's a winner, that. What kind of a deal is that? Not everybody is a winner. There's winners and there's losers. That's just a fact.
And there are some parents that get so strongly entrenched of this because they don't like the idea of none of the kids winning. But that's actually what you do when you diminish winning itself by giving everybody a trophy. And if some of you give us hate in the comments, just hear us out, okay? Don't get emotional or overwrought with this. Just give us a chance to explain why we think that way. Think back to when you were a kid, and if any of you were in sports, or if you were in a science fair, or something where there was competition, what was the one thing you were striving for? You wanted to be the top, you wanted to win, you wanted to be the best, you wanted to be the one that basically you were the one that proved you were the best out of everybody, you beat everybody. You were the clear-cut winner.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody's that, there's no value to it.
Well, and being a loser doesn't mean that you're nothing.
No, in fact,
you tried really hard.
In fact, losing can actually be a good experience in the fact that it helps you become better. Because it can give you that drive, it can give you that desire to do better the next time you're faced with something.
Yeah,
so failure is not a bad thing. If you lose a game, guess what? It's just a game. True, it may mean a lot to you, but the thing is you can use that as motivation to help you actually reach that next level and become better at whatever it is you're trying to do.
Yeah. That's just it.
So the thing is if everybody gets a trophy, where does that drive come from? Where does that motivation? It's not there because they're like, well, I gave it a half-hearted effort. I still win in the end. Okay, so another thing that I want to talk about is something that everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want you to do with your devices, unless hey, you want to have a conversation?
Exactly.
Let's have a conversation like a lot of Y millennials.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the real conversation? This we're going to give you something unique that maybe you never thought about. Get ready to experience what a real conversation is like. Step 1, put down the phone. Hey man, what's up?
Not much. How you been?
Doing good. It's kind of
That's
cold
good.
out there, isn't it?
A little bit, yes. It's a little colder for November this year, but yeah.
Well, you know, hey, that's just the way it is here in Oklahoma.
Absolutely. So how's work been?
It's been real good.
Good.
Enjoying what I do, honestly.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
no troubles. This new job's been good for you.
mm-hmm.
Awesome. So
That is a conversation.
yeah.
What, it's sick. You go to a restaurant and people are just all, there'll be 5 or 6 of them around a table. They're like, hey, want to go hang out? This is what they'll do the whole time. Just
Yeah, and they're texting each other that want to hang out to the group.
mm-hmm.
And then you got the problem, because by doing this is what it leads to, is it leads to also you and another person getting into a conversation about somebody that is doing something that you don't like. And then it becomes gossip about this person.
See, back in the day, it kind of leads to this other thing. It's back in the day before social media existed, which most of you, your minds are probably blown. What? It didn't always exist. Before social media ever existed, before people started YouTubing comments and stuff, like probably a lot of you are going to give us hate, but here's the thing, we don't really care. So, before all that existed, people actually, if they didn't have anything nice to say, they just didn't say it. But now they're safe behind their computer screens on the anonymity of their mobile devices, where they wouldn't have the courage or the bravery to say that thing to your face, but yet because they're behind a keyboard or a device, they will say the meanest, evilest things.
Yeah.
That's part of this Y generation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, guys, really?
I don't get it.
It's for lack of a better term, it is truly disgusting.
Yeah. So.
I mean, just because, I mean, like I said, and not, the point we're trying to get across here is, do you see the difference? Like we said, we're defining ourselves as ex-millennials, as opposed to the example of the Y millennials that we brought out. It's like a completely warped version of what a person could be to be better. Like we were talking about with the trophy thing. There's no drive there. There's no desire, because everything that was given to them from the moment they were basically born, almost.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it.
I mean, my experience comes not from being a parent, like I mentioned. Mine comes from actually being a teacher for 4 years. I saw it. Each year it got a little bit worse, that attitude, that mentality. And the thing is it's sad. Now, there is a good example, because what did we talk about? The real world, whenever they come face to face with that. I've actually seen somebody that was that way, and actually having the real world forced him to grow up and see that that is not the way the world works. The next time I ran into this individual, he was a completely different person. He'd grown up, he'd grown out of that mentality, which that may be a bright, side of that maybe once they get that taste, that helps them grow up,
Yeah.
But up until that point, it's kind of a sad waste of their potential.
Yeah. Wasting away their youth.
And I know this is kind of like different from our normal genre that we do, whether it's a movie or whatever. But the thing is we've actually been wanting to get this video. This is one of those different type of videos that we were talking about making in our last season, because it's just something that we felt needed to be addressed. And the thing is we're not expecting this video to change the world. But for anybody that sees this, our main point was to try and help you guys see that not all of us are that stigma.
Yeah.
There's probably half of us, half of all millennials alive on this planet at this point in time are like that stigma. The other half are like us. They actually have a decent job, can actually look at ourselves with some dignity, and know that we're going to have to work for what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, we don't want to keep hounding and beating ourselves, like a broken record.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was kind of the reason we made this video.
Yes.
But anyway, any final thoughts?
You pretty much explained it all, man. There's nothing else to be said. Pretty much hit every high point there was. So.
But anyway, and if, just the thing is we just ask that you approach this video with an open mind, to just hear us out. That's all we ever ask. So, and if you write hateful comments in the comments down below, guess what? They're going to be in the trash can.
Eat it anyways. So.
Because that shows a lack of maturity if you're just going to rip us.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you did not approach this with an open mind. You didn't listen. It's kind of like that self-entitled attitude. There's probably a bunch of why millennials that are going to rip us on this video.
Probably.
But do we
but
care?
It doesn't bother us. I mean, we don't care. I mean.
Nope. Honey badger.
Honey badger mentality.
Anyway, guys.
But
we'll go back to our normal style of reviews in the next one, including a Doctor Who special thing we got going on. That'll be a little bit humorous, make up for the lack of it in this video.
Yeah.
But you know what, guys? Until then, I guess we'll see you guys in another review.
Alrighty.
And I have to say that it's interesting because we have an audience watching us for the first time in Midwest Reviews history, and I'm trying not to laugh. Anyway.